Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Now, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
You will hit me, Alabama West. You will hit me, Alabama West.
Well, there you have it. Boise State finding out they're going to be a number 10 seed at the end of the year. They'll take on number 7 seed Northwestern. It'll be Thursday at 5:30 Mountain Time on True TV. Boise State and Northwestern. A couple hundred fans and the Broncos watching today, the selection show. Cool moment over at Extra Mile Arena. This could not happen last year because of the issues with Boise State's plane trying to make it back, but they got it done today, and they heard their name called as we welcome you on into Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. You hear the Boise State chant there, and the Broncos are going dancing. We got John Mallory, KTIK, the ticket. We're going to do this again tomorrow morning for a full 30 minutes, Johnny, at 9 a.m., but we wanted to jump on and just kind of give some instant reactions, let fans celebrate, have some comments, and we'll kind of see where it goes tonight. We'll hear from Leon Rice, his thoughts. We got some more footage of the party as well, but overall, Johnny, Broncos are dancing. It was a fun afternoon at Extra Mile Arena.
First and foremost, BJ, nice hat, right? Nice hat.
It is.
You're
nice
looking
hat.
good tonight.
You
Yeah,
too,
I'm
man.
wearing the same one you are. Right. I mean, this is fun, and this has not happened in essentially 30 years in this town, where you've had back-to-back trips to the NCAA tournament. And it's different now because you're in a different league and you're under a different set of circumstances. Last year, you won the league. You still would have been in, but it was nice to cut down those nets. This year, didn't get that opportunity, but you still get in at a large bid and don't have to go to Dayton, right? So this is historic on that front too. And I think first and foremost, BJ, before we get into all this stuff, I think Boise State, I think Leon Rice and his staff were able to check a couple of boxes they wanted to check. One, a suitable opponent, get an opponent you think you can beat. And two, a suitable destination where your fans can be able to travel and essentially the team doesn't have to travel very long or very, very, very many miles, of course, where they're going in Sacramento. So this is a lot of fun for Bronco Nation. I remember doing this show with you this time last year. We're talking about Memphis. We weren't certain about the opponent. We loved the location in Portland, but it wasn't necessarily both boxes checked. This year, I think those are. So this is going to be a fun week for basketball here in Idaho. No question, man. Thanks for having me on, dude. This is going to be fun.
Looking forward to it. And a little different circumstances. You mentioned last year, Johnny, Boise State was the third team listed in the entire tournament in the very first region there last year. So they got their news out of the way quickly. and they were watching from an airport with a laptop propped up on a Dunkin' Donuts stand because their flight was delayed and they couldn't get back to be with the team. So they had the event today, had to sweat it out a little bit, but when the West region was announced, it down there towards the bottom, Thursday and Saturday games in Sacramento, California. And there you have it, 21-11 Northwestern, the 7 seed, Boise State, the 10 seed. Ironically enough, Boise State is about 10 spots higher in the KenPom rankings, Johnny. And actually, Boise State opened as a 2-point Las Vegas favorite in this game, despite being the number 10 seed. So your initial thoughts on the matchup, Johnny. Northwestern, by the way, a team that is very good defensively. They're in the top 15 in the defensive efficiency numbers at KenPom. Their offense is outside of the top 100. So 2 stellar defensive teams. Northwestern kind of relies on its defense, not a great shooting team. But Northwestern and Boise State on Thursday. And you mentioned, Johnny, checking off some boxes, good location, good opponent. I'm going to throw the time in there. 5:30 tip-off.
Love it.
It's not a noon tip-off on a work day or a 2 o'clock game or a 9 p.m. game. It's 5:30. Maybe 7, I guess, would be perfect or something. But I think a 5:30 game time, all things considered, is not bad either.
Yeah, I think, yeah. You get off work early, make the arrangements, right, BJ? Do what you have to do to watch this game on Thursday night. And you're right. Last year, I think Boise State was the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th team eliminated. They had that early game on Thursday. So it was a quick exit. You don't have that this year. You can build that up a little bit, which I think for fans is nice. I would have preferred this game on Friday, but this isn't Burger King. You can't have it your way, every which way, right, BJ? But the matchup, certainly, I'll tell you this. Northwestern fans, they like this matchup. Boise State fans, they like this matchup. That's going to be a lot of fun. Like you said, the point spread, Boise State favored by 2. That's probably going to stay about where it is. And for as far as a 7 and 10 game, what are you drinking right now? You cocktailing up right now, my man? Hell yeah. Oh, no. Okay. Thought you were cut watering it right.
No, it's been a long couple of days down in Vegas, and I still got some work to do, so just getting going for the night, man.
All good. But no, on this team, you're not facing a national powerhouse. You're not facing a team with multiple future first-round NBA draft picks, Like, that's why I love the matchup in that sense. But again, as I was saying, Northwestern likes this matchup too. They're in the Big Ten. They held their own more than so in a really tough league this year. And they're facing a mid-major. They're facing a Boise State team that's never won an NCAA tournament before. So Chris Collins, who does a really good job, son of Doug Collins, the ex-NBA coach, Coach Michael Jordan before Phil Jackson. I mean, I'm a big fan of Chris Collins. I liked him at Duke. I've liked him as an assistant. I liked him taking this job, 12, 13 years ago at this point. I can't believe he's been there that long, but it's been about a decade, I think, that Chris Collins has been at Northwestern. Maybe not quite, but he's been there a while. He had them in the tournament a few years ago. They won their first round. They probably could have beat Gonzaga. It was a high-level second-round matchup. There's the gif of that kid with the braces. That was the athletic director's son. I'm sure he'll be at this game too. And that was 2017. So we're talking, 7 years later or whatever? I like this matchup, BJ. And again, not a national power, but these guys are good. They're guard heavy, like mega guard heavy, BJ. They have one of the best guards, I think, in the country in Boo Buie. I know it's a funny name, but the guy is nothing funny about his game. Boo Buie dropped 17 points a game, and he is a terrific player from New York. He's 6'2", so he's about the same size as Marcus Shaver. That's going to be a very intriguing matchup. If I'm Leon, I might put Abo on Boo Buie because of his length and his athleticism there. But obviously, those guys are smarter than me on that, BJ. But Northwestern's 3 best players are all guards. They're juniors or seniors. They're very experienced. They're going to be ready for this game. They have a 7-footer, BJ. He's not a scorer, but he's a rim protector, averages about 6 points, 7 rebounds. I like this matchup, and let's be honest. If Boise State wins this, BJ, you know this, it'll be the biggest win, the greatest win, the most fantastic moment in the history of this program, winning an NCAA tournament game. Let's see if they can do it. I like the matchup. I didn't want Kentucky. I didn't want Michigan State. I certainly didn't want Arkansas. All these other names we had mentioned. I think Northwestern, this is a great matchup, not only for Boise State, but it's a good matchup for Northwestern too. I'm not saying they're not worried about Boise State, and Boise State's not worried about Northwestern. This is going to be fun, man.
Yeah, and we got a lot of comments I want to get to. I do want to hear from Leon Rice as well. But as Bob says, this might be our best matchup ever. I would assume, Johnny, this would be the first time ever Boise State's favored in an NCAA tournament game as well, because
no question.
Last year they played Memphis, even though they were the higher seed. Memphis was favored.
Were they favored in Dayton against Dayton?
Oh, that's a good. I wouldn't.
Were they favored in Dayton against LaSalle? Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's true, but if we'll have to look that up. One of the few times they've probably been in. I mean, we've talked about it 0-8, Johnny, in the NCAA tournament. I mean, if there was ever a time to win it, this would be it. As you said, it's got all the food groups, as John Mallory likes to say. They're all represented, and you mentioned the location. I think a lot of Boise State fans can get to Sacramento. The opponent for me is a big one because you mentioned it. Last year against Memphis, Boise State was severely underseeded, or at least Memphis was, overseeded, and that was a tough one for Boise State. And you had to go up against the number 2 pick in the draft and in Jalen Duren. And yeah, you mentioned Kentucky. I mean, if they had, I jokingly said to Leon Rice, hey, no, I said, nothing offense your guys, but I'm glad you're not playing Kentucky because Oscar Tshiebwe might have had 40 points. And Leon looks at me, he goes, he'd have had 40 rebounds too. So, I mean, they that would not have been a good matchup for them. And I think Boise State knew that. And so, you mentioned Arkansas, all that. I mean, yeah. And there were the main 2 bracket projections, Johnny, Jerry Palm and Joe Lenardi, both had Boise State playing Kentucky in Sacramento in the 7-10
Throw
game.
in Missouri too. Throw in Mizzou, who Utah State drew. Missouri reminds me of San Diego State. It's a bunch of big, lengthy, physical dudes. That's going to be a tough matchup for the Aggies. They don't shoot super well, but I think this is a good matchup, man. This is a winnable game, BJ. It's a winnable game.
It certainly is, and so and you look at when it came up the first time and it said games in Sacramento and Missouri's the 7. I got the camera going because you're thinking, okay, here it is, 7-10 in Sacramento. And then they said Utah State, and we'll talk about the Mountain West maybe mostly tomorrow, Johnny. We'll save some of that for tomorrow. But I think that then when the next 7-10 came up, they said, okay, these games are in Sacramento. When Northwestern came up, a lot of the Boise State players started cheering because they're like, okay, hopefully this is us, and we're not playing Kentucky. Like they saw Northwestern, and that was a game where they were like, hey, we can win this game. And then Boise State comes up, and it certainly worked out. As Kay Foster says, Mountain West needs to put up or shut up in this tournament. All 4 teams have winnable games. Sam says, couldn't really ask for a better matchup. Great matchup, great location. Northwestern is a good and motivated team, but it's a good matchup for us. Really hyped for the matchup. Northwestern has some weapons, currently having their best season since the 50s. Going to be a good one. But as you said, Johnny, there's no intimidation factor. Boise State's not walking out there looking at John Calipari on the other sidelines or Penny Hardaway and the number 2 pick in the draft and Jalen Duren or Tom Izzo on the other sidelines. I mean, this is going to be a team that looks like. Yes, sir.
Remember when me and you were standing at the court at the Moda Center in Portland last year? They let media members, it's crazy, but they let us on the court for these games just to watch practice. And BJ, you and I are standing 5 feet away from Larry Brown and Penny Hardaway on the floor. And we're watching Memphis practice. And we're looking at each other like, dude, are these guys in town to play the Blazers? Or is this really Boise State's matchup? Like the physicality off the bus that Memphis brought last year. We were like, okay, this might be a difficult game. And it was. Northwestern's not going to get off the bus like that. So, in those terms, like what you're saying, sure, winnable game, absolutely. Best moment in the history of the program, winning this game. BJ, they got to get this done. Leon needs to get this done. Max, the fellas, they need to get this done. They need to be able to beat Northwestern in Sacramento on Thursday night. I think they can do it. I hope they do it. And it would set up a magical game against a limping UCLA team in round 2. And I don't want to get too far ahead. I felt last year, BJ, at least I did, I went too far ahead. I looked at the Gonzaga matchup in round 2. Boise State versus Gonzaga, the game we will never, ever see unless it's in the conference tournament. I felt that, at least in my case, media members in this town, we looked past Memphis because we wanted that Zags game. I don't think this week we're going to be talking about the matchup against UCLA on a Saturday night. No, it's beat Northwestern, a team that has won one NCAA tournament game versus a team in Boise that's won 0 NCAA tournament games in a winnable contest. That's where I think we are this year. Hopefully the team is thinking the same thing. Maybe Tyson Degenhart last year and the fellas were thinking, what's it going to be like if we play the Zags in the second round? There's not going to be any of that this year. I think this team is going to have a laser tractor beam, sucked me right in, Dumb and Dumber focus, BJ, regarding this opponent. And let's see what happens. They have great guards. Northwestern does, but I can't wait for this, man. I can't wait.
You were right, though. We're not talking about the UCLA matchup. We're already talking about the Sweet 16 matchup against Gonzaga the following weekend.
I didn't even notice that was there. And
Sweet 16. As Kay Foster says, Leon Rice beats Gonzaga to get to the Elite Eight. There you go.
Just beat Northwestern, right, though? Just Northwestern. Find out a way where Boo Buie doesn't you, because that kid can't. He's one of the best guards in the country. Boo Buie. I know it's a weird name, but the kid is lights out. I watched him play in the Big Ten tournament over the weekend. He's really good, man. He's really, really good. What Northwestern does, BJ, well, they don't turn the ball over because they're all guards, because they're smart and they handle the ball well. And what I saw that they don't give up a lot of steals offensively. They don't give up a lot of turnovers. They don't turn over the ball that much because they have their 3 best players, all ball handling guards. So we'll see how that matchup works. But Northwestern's a good team. They hung in the Big Ten really well. Like, dang, dude, I'll just say it. Shit, man. These guys can play too.
No doubt about it. Hey,
I like saying that word.
That's
on
okay.
Your show.
That's fine.
I can't say it on Idaho Sports Talk.
There you go. There you go. Hopefully, folks are enjoying a Cutwater right now. Cutwater Spirits, more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. We're in the Cutwater studios right now. Hopefully, you pick up one at your local gas station or grocery store. We're thankful for rowpaint.com as well. They're giving 15% off using that promo code BNN15. Use the promo code BNN15 at your local when you go on the website at roepaint.com, and your local painters, rowpaint.com. They'll be out to take care of you with whatever your painting needs are. Lithia Ford of Boise, I'm happy with our F-150. You will be as well, but for some reason, if you don't want to buy from them, they're looking to buy your used vehicle. Just make them they'll make you a cash offer on the spot. Lithia Ford Boise, drive on in, check them out, get more information, lithiafordboise.com. And Idaho Central Credit Union, the official bank of Bronco Nation News, and the Raines family, check them out, iccu.com. There's more than 500,000 Idahoans that made the switch, and you can too at idahocentralcreditunion.com. And if you need some new tournament gear, they're going to have it at the Blue and Orange store. Check them out, theblueandorangestore.com. They got all your NCAA tournament gear, the NIL shirts, shaver, Degenhart, all that great stuff. And you can go into the Boise Town Square Mall there on the second floor, or if you're in the Boise, if you're not in the Boise area, you can just go ahead, Johnny, and blueandorangestore.com. They'll give free shipping on any order over $40. Here's a extended look, Johnny. Oh, go ahead, Johnny. You can talk Johnny over this.
When is that store going to start selling BNN gear? That's what I want to know.
We'll have to work on that. But I wanted to give a little extended version of the event today. Johnny, you had fans out there, I'd say probably, 500 fans maybe. It was nicely attended. The team came out. They were welcomed onto the court. They sat in front, watched the selection show with the fans. Tyson Degenhart waving to the fans there earlier today. Remember, they were supposed to do this last year and bring back the trophy, and the Nets couldn't do it when the flight got delayed. But introduced each player to the crowd. Our friend KJ Mack was on hand. There's Max Rice waving to the fans, but all the players nervously, anxiously watching. I was watching Johnny as different teams were getting picked. Guys were tapping guys on the shoulder and saying, "Ooh, look at that matchup! Look at that!" They were excited to see San Diego State get the 5 seed, which we can touch on. But when it got to that West region, Sacramento, California, there they are, Boise State. Cool moment there. You saw Tyson Degenaar kind of had his hands over his head. He was a little nervous. Look at him there. Leon Rice, the double fist pump. Here's some of the support staff. There's David Motes is fired up. Lexus Williams. There's Robin Rice back there pumping her fist. Matt Bauscher was in the crowd. Lindsey Bauscher and company. They were all fired up. Again, Johnny, this is only the 3rd at-large bid, and if you don't count the first 2, this is the first at-large bid into the field of 64 in program history. So here's the fans chanting Boise State. There's Bauscher.
Is that your boy Brock Rice there?
Brock Rice.
Brock Rice?
I think Brock was there somewhere. Yeah, he was there. Yep.
Yeah, I see him.
He's trying to get his own show on BNN. We'll have to see if we can make that happen or not. But
that'd be awesome, man.
But Johnny, I mean, it's just, again, second time in program history, as you said, where they are in the tournament back-to-back years. But only the 3rd at-large bid in program history. I mean, this is kind of a historic moment for Boise State basketball.
Let's hope they make this somewhat of an annual thing, BJ. I mean, can Boise State find a way to make this tournament 6 times every 10 years? I think that's possible. I think they're on the way for that, and I think that's awesome. So, yeah, this is not just a football school anymore. Basketball is playing well, and Leon has this thing rolling, and hopefully they keep this going. This is a lot of fun. I mean, you work in the media in this town. Hell, you started your own business covering this team. You need this program to do well in sports. I need this program to do well in sports. Brad O, Sports Talking. Our shows are cake this whole week, man. Getting interviews, talking about these games, March Madness. This is, without question, BJ, you know this. This is the greatest tournament in American sports. College, pro, prep, whatever the hell. This is the best tournament we have annually in this country. And for Boise State to be in it again, with a chance, they're not a 14 seed in the Big Sky like they were those 2 years the last time they went into this. They were, an 8 or 9 last year? They're a 10 this year. They have a legitimate chance to win. So this is so much fun for this town. And Jeremiah Dickey, Cody Gogler, tip of the cap, Leon Rice, everybody involved in this thing, the assistant coaches, they got a good basketball program right now. And, let's just hope that they can beat Northwestern on Thursday night, BJ, and have the greatest moment in the history of Boise State basketball. And this is untouchable if they win a tournament game. They're 0-8 lifetime. This would be the biggest event in the history of Boise State hoops. Prater says this is an event town. Hell yeah, I agree with them. How about the event of Boise State beating Northwestern on Thursday and setting up a game, BJ, against UCLA on Saturday, probably night? Like, are you kidding me, man? It's all the food groups. They're all represented here, right?
Grand Teton says Dayton was a 2-point favorite and LaSalle was a 1.5-point favorite. So this is believed to be the first time, Johnny, Boise State favored an NCAA tournament game. And I guess that could change by Thursday, by tip-off. But as of now, Boise State is favored for the first time ever. So there literally has never been a better opportunity, a better chance for them to win that first tournament game. Nathaniel saying we bucked the monkey off our back this year. Go Broncos. Kay Foster says, go ahead, Johnny. Boise over the Zags to the Elite Eight. Chase was in the crowd today. Perry says, very cool. Sam says, honestly, if you told me to pick one and only one of the Mountain West first-round games to where the Mountain West team will lose, he says he would take San Diego State. He thinks Charleston is good enough to beat San Diego State. But you do have a lot of respect, Johnny, for the Mountain West because you got San Diego State the 5, Nevada gets in as the play-in game. Utah State's a 10 seed, also playing in Sacramento. Will the Utah State fans root for Boise State or not?
I don't think so.
They don't seem to like them very much, but they're in the same building. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Excuse me.
He's choked up, guys. It's a really emotional
You never
day.
know. You never know in league play because it's weird how they have the pods, and I like the pods where they send you geographically. Maybe Boise State and Utah State fan root for each other to hope for the Mountain West, because the Mountain West, as you know, BJ, gets its ass kicked in this tournament. I'm already hearing all these people tell me how Charleston is going to beat San Diego State.
That's what Sam just said.
Everybody's saying that. Jay Billis, no, maybe Seth Davis is all over that with CBS. And it sucks for San Diego State. They got to go to Orlando, but whatevs. Man, please, San Diego State, beat Charleston. But I don't know if they will. I mean, I saw Jeff Grammer, your boy in Albuquerque. He set the line at 1.5 for wins for the Mountain West this tournament.
I think you got to go over. I think it's going to be over this year. I do.
You think San Diego State either wins 2 games, or San Diego State in Boise or Utah State or Nevada?
Nevada's playing the play-in game against Arizona State, by the way. 2 players, Warren Washington, the center, and Desmond Cambridge, a shooting guard, just transferred from Nevada to Arizona State.
Yes.
Now they're playing them in the tournament.
Yeah, Cambridge gets revenge against Nevada, possibly. I was shocked Nevada got in. I'm happy they got in, but I would have easily, if I'm on the committee, I would have stood on the table and would have said Clemson is a better team than Nevada. I probably would have said if North Carolina played Nevada in a neutral site, North Carolina probably would have been favored in that game. But good for Nevada. I love Steve Alford. I'm glad the Mountain West got 4 teams, but I was shocked, BJ, that Nevada and Arizona State, for that matter, that they got in the first 4. But I think it's good for the Western region, so I'm not bitching about it. But yeah, Mountain West over-under, total wins in the tournament, 1.5. I would hope it's over. Seems like it's set up pretty nicely. And I think Utah State can beat Mizzou too. I really do. They'll have rest, and if they're hitting threes the way they can, they'll have a crowd there. You know how well Utah State fans travel. They'll pack that place in Sacktown. Mizzou won't. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we get 3 Mountain West teams that win a game in this tournament this year. Maybe.
Colin Mitchell says not sold on the Charleston talk. The Aztecs defend the 3 as well as anyone.
They're good, man, and they're veteran. All the players they start are either juniors or seniors, and they're tough and they're motivated. And Dutch does such a good job with that program. I'm going to be pissed off if San Diego State doesn't win that game. I will have them pick BJ in every one of my brackets to advance. San Diego State, yes.
All right, we got to get out of here soon, Johnny. You got to rest your voice. You got to rest.
Why?
Your boss is texting me that we got to get you rested up for tomorrow. So
JP sent you a text.
We got to keep him. We got to keep you rested and healthy for tomorrow, man. So I can't keep you too long. But so let me do the talking for a minute. If you are looking for a job, how about Transportation Compliance Service? Transcomservice.com. I do want to hear from Leon Rice here briefly, also on his opening statement. But Transportation Compliance Service, Transcomservice.com. If you're looking for a new job, they can help you every step of the way to get into the trucking industry. Get more information at Transcomservice.com. You're looking for a dentist? How about Boise Dentistry Co.? 5 locations across the Treasure Valley. They can help you out. BoiseDentistryCo.com. Check them out. 5 locations, full family dentistry. They do a tremendous job. And you can get more information, find a location near you at BoiseDentistryCo.com. You're looking for an insurance company, business insurance? United Commercial Insurance can lower your business rate. They can write business policy insurance in 44 states around the country. So check them out. Pretty much anywhere in the U.S., they can help you out. Check them out online, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. Ridley's Family Markets, ShopRidley's.com, was at the Cuna location last week. Check them out, ShopRidley's.com. Find a location near you and go download their app, the Ridley's app at Ridley's Family Markets. Find a location near you at ShopRidley's.com. Matt Bauscher, the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. Matt Bauscher was at the party today. BauscherRealestate.com. #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Check them out, BauscherRealEstate.com. And we got a record viewership right now for a pregame, postgame show. So if you're new to us or just checking us out, we'd love to have you in the Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament on June 2nd. We're going to have some coaches, some players, a lot of recognizable figures, I'll just say that, playing in the tournament. So check it out, Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament on June 2nd, BroncoNationNews.com. Click on the golf tournament tab, BroncoNationNews.com. Click on the golf tab. We'd love to have you join us and play on June 2nd. Foursomes are limited. We are almost out of space. Johnny, let's hear just the opening statement real quick from Leon Rice. This was him talking to the media. Actually, I can play this. We need to rest your vocal cords here. You should. Any final thoughts real quick, Johnny?
Excited. March Madness. You kidding me? It's the greatest tournament in American sports. We have it this week. And luckily for the folks in Boise, you get your team in the dance 2 years in a row. And this year, heck, I think you got a pretty good shot to win.
Appreciate you, man. We'll talk to you tomorrow. There he is, John Mallory. We appreciate him for coming on. And let's hear from Leon Rice, Boise State's head coach, on the matchup.
It went on a little longer this year, but when you saw the respect our league was getting, you felt really good. Nevada getting in, I was worried about them, on the bubble. Bubble's a hard place to be. And then, Utah State got a good seed. San Diego State got a 5 seed. So I knew our league was getting good respect. So you just never know what you're going to get, or you never know what's going to pop up for you, or where you're going to go, or any of that. So, your heart gets pounding, but it's a great feeling. And, like I told our team and the fans, and you start out the season in basically August nowadays, and, you work for this day. And these guys work and work and work and grind and persist. And, I talked to a buddy of mine, Mark Turgeon, this morning, and he said, I came to that UNLV game and I'm watching you guys. I'm like, this can't be the same team I watched against Charlotte. How much this team has grown and how far we've came in the course of a year. It's really proud of these guys. And so it's a great moment for your program and for this community and for the basketball fans in this community. The at-large bids are hard to get. They're so hard to get. There's 365 teams or whatever, and everybody's battling to try to be in this position to get an at-large, and not many get them. And so, we're grateful. We're happy to be playing in the best tournament in the world, in our opinion, and excited to be able to do it. And, all the other stuff is just, you say you don't care where you go, but it is nice to be able to go for our fans where Sacramento, we can get there. And hopefully our fans can get there in full force. And, because it makes there's nothing like the NCAA tournament.
Well, there he is, Leon Rice, speaking with the media earlier today. We got one more Leon Rice clip we can play, talking about Northwestern as well. Their coach, Chris Collins, as Johnny was talking about earlier. A couple people jokingly saying, yes, let BJ talk, let BJ talk. You got to love the passion of John Mallory. Someone mentioned earlier he was about to fall out of his chair, but you got to love the passion of Johnny Ball Game, and a good friend of mine, and he's getting over a cold, and we appreciate him for coming on. Nothing against Nevada. Surprised they got in. Thought Rutgers would have got in over them. I give Jerry Palm some credit. He was sticking to his guns and had Nevada in the first 4 in all of his brackets, and they were the last team in the tournament. Somebody asked when the game was. 5:35 on True TV. And just a heads up, if you guys remember the games in Boise a couple years ago, because of the time zones, because of when you can start the games and end them, there's very little time in between the sessions when you play out west. So but from the end of that second game to the start, when then they have to kick everybody out of the arena, it's a whole new ticket to come back in for the second session. And there's like only an hour and 20 minutes or something for that to happen. And if you remember in Boise last year, a couple years ago, they had all of the people trying to go out and come back in. I would say when that first game of the evening session started in Boise, the arena was like 25% full. All the fans were still trying to get back into the arena. And I'm just guessing, but when the Boise State game tips off, I'm guessing it's not full unless they have a much better system in Sacramento and can somehow get everybody out and back in very quickly. I think you're probably looking at a scenario where the arena is not full at the start of the Boise State game. All the fans start come trickling in, and at some point late in the first half, they have everybody in there. But I don't think either way that Northwestern's going to have some huge crowd advantage. It's usually a lot of neutral fans anyway. A lot of intriguing matchups. Perry says, yeah, we'll look at some of those tomorrow. Johnny's going to join me again 9 a.m. tomorrow. We'll have Johnny at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And we'll discuss more of the matchups and the bracket as a whole. Love that we're playing on the West Coast again. Great for fans to travel. Yeah, I guessed Sacramento, and I booked a flight to Sacramento probably a month ago and got lucky, and it worked out. So go book your flights if you're looking. But the committee clearly gave a lot of respect to the Mountain West. Well deserved. Sam, totally agree. When I saw San Diego State come in as a 5 right away, you thought, okay, that's good news for Boise State. Okay. That's good news right away. If they're a 5 seed, if San Diego State's a 5 seed, then you see Utah State get a 10, and you're like, okay, if Utah State's a 10, Boise State's going to be a 9 or 10 probably. And you see Nevada get in there, and you're like, okay. And then it ends up that Boise State. It was a little nerve-wracking. I don't know if anybody else was like starting to wonder, okay, wait a minute, are they actually not going to get in here? Like they were done with half the tournament, and they weren't in yet. So it was starting to get a little tense inside the arena, but everybody was pretty sure they were going to get in. But when it hadn't happened yet, you were just kind of wondering, like, okay, what's going on? Why aren't they in yet? But then you remember that it was okay. Half the field still hadn't been decided yet. So Boise State checks in at number 31 at KenPom. Northwestern is actually number 42 at KenPom. So Boise State's 11 spots higher at KenPom. I believe Boise State had a better net ranking as well. And yet Boise State is favored in the game, but Northwestern is the 7 and Boise State is the 10. So again, if you could have had Kentucky, you could have had all these other teams, and maybe it would have been cool to have Leon Rice going up against John Calipari. But in terms of games that are actually winnable to make some history and win your first tournament game, like this is as good as it's going to be. We mentioned it's probably the first time they've ever been favored in the game. It was perfect. So when they showed the overall seeds, Boise State was 37, the first number 10. That is correct. As soon as Gonzaga was announced, I knew Boise would be in the same region and location. Gonzaga, I don't think is actually in. Gonzaga is not in Sacramento. They're somewhere else because I think Gonzaga might be in Denver because Sacramento is the UCLA and Arizona, I believe. When San Diego State was announced as a 5, I wasn't too nervous. Yeah, that's probably how most people felt. But once two regions went by, I think it was natural to just be like, okay here. Well, you heard about Boo Buie and obviously Northwestern and the guards that they have on their team. They come in at, Northwestern comes in at number 13 at the KenPom defensive efficiency numbers. So number 13 is their offense in the country. They're one of the best teams in the country in terms of defensive numbers. Offense, not quite as good. They're 109th in offensive efficiency. They're 308th in average possession length. So they're going to slow it down and probably try to win a lower scoring game. Northwestern is. So Leon Rice was asked about whether or not he knows Chris Collins, the coach, and his thoughts on Northwestern.
Not like you said, you come across these guys somewhere somehow, but he's done a great job. I mean, they've gone 2 times and when that program hadn't gone forever. He's built that program in a great league, and what they did this year, because they lost some really good players from last year, and their defensive numbers were terrific. They look like one of the best coach teams in the country, and they got great players too. Those guys, what they did was really, really impressive, and like I said, in one of the best leagues in the country.
So we'll get more information on Northwestern as we move forward here. Chase says second highest seed in school history. So we got a busy week at BroncoNationNews.com. We'll have full story up later tonight on this. With some comments from Tyson, Degenhart, Max Rice. We'll hear from Tyson and Max tomorrow on the show. We'll hear some more from Leon. We'll dive a little more into the matchup tomorrow morning with Johnny. Jay Tuss will join me on Tuesday. We got some football interviews tomorrow as well, so we'll get the new strength coach and a couple players and get those on the YouTube channel. And then Tuesday, Jay Tuss will join me, and then we're heading out to Sacramento Tuesday. The team will be going to Sacramento, hopefully get some interviews live from Sacramento on Tuesday night. And then Wednesday will be a full day of interviews, open locker room, open practice for fans and media in Sacramento on Wednesday. And then Thursday is game time. So we'll be rolling 3 deep. Bronco Nation News, myself. We're also sending Colin Mitchell and also our photographer, Carson Stawning, who's done a great job for us with some of the graphics and some of the photos. We're going to be sending him over there as well. So we'll have photos, stories, video, you name it, rolling 3 deep with Bronco Nation News. And it's only possible because of our great sponsors like RowPaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, Lithia Ford of Boise, all of our great sponsors, TCS, Transportation Compliance Service, and of course, all of our big-time sponsors, the Blue and Orange Store, and you go down the line. We've already told you about them, but thank you to our sponsors for making this possible, and thank you to you. We'd love to have you subscribe. $6.99 a month. We're going to have a promo code that we'll put up to get you a discount. I think it's like $20 off. We'll do a promo code, but we'll get that going tomorrow for a promo code. We'd love to have you subscribe for a full year, help support our efforts, help get us to Sacramento and hopefully Vegas. Win 2 games in Sacramento, and then we'll go on to Vegas for next weekend for the Sweet 16. That sounds like a plan. So, but it's only possible thanks to your subscriptions and your support of our sponsors. And so we'll be live from Sacramento starting on Tuesday night, and then we'll have all full coverage in the morning shows Wednesday, Thursday, and down the line. So very appreciative of all of our sponsors, very appreciative of all you guys for watching us out. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support of Bronco Nation News and helping us continue to build this company and get it off the ground. We're only about 15, 16 months in. We got big plans, and it's only possible thanks to your support, not only by signing up for a subscription, but also for supporting the sponsors and telling them and letting them know that you appreciate them supporting us here at Bronco Nation News. So that'll wrap up today's show. Again, we'll have Max Rice, Tyson Degenhart, Leon Rice on the show tomorrow, and then we'll continue to break down this matchup all week. So 9 a.m., you can join us 9 a.m. tomorrow Mountain Time. It'll be Johnny and myself as we continue to break down this matchup and get you set. And again, we'll hear from Tyson, hear from Max, hear from Leon. It's going to be a fun week. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com. So thanks so much. Congratulations, Boise State fans. Your team's back in the big dance, and I think has a really good chance to make history and win that first game ever. So full coverage all week. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com. We'll talk to you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Bronco Nation News.